Beloved souls of divine abundance, listen well, for the invisible world is speaking to you now. The universe, that perfect and unerring power of supply, has already written your name upon a check of infinite good. It is signed, sealed, and waiting, not in some faraway heaven, but right here, in the invisible realm of ideas, ready to be drawn into form by your word, your faith, and your fearless expectation. Every man and woman carries within them a secret account in the great bank of the universe. Some never draw upon it, for they doubt that such wealth could belong to them. Others write their spiritual checks daily with gratitude and certainty, and behold, their desires appear as if by miracle. Yet there are no miracles to the one who understands divine law. The law is precise, the law is sure. You receive exactly what you claim, no more, no less. So I say to you, claim your check now, not tomorrow, not when conditions seem favorable, but now, this very moment. For hesitation is but a declaration of disbelief, and disbelief is the only poverty that exists. You are not waiting for the universe to act, the universe is waiting for you to believe. Picture then this cosmic check, written in radiant light. It bears your name, written by the hand of the infinite, and the amount is unlimited. It may come as perfect health, divine companionship, creative success, or financial freedom, whatever your heart has called for in pure desire. The check is already issued. Your task is to endorse it with faith. Speak your word of acceptance. Say, I now receive my good. It is mine by divine right, and then go about your day with the quiet joy of one who knows the deposit has cleared in the unseen. When you worry, you stop payment on your check. When you doubt, you scribble across it with fear and delay. But when you give thanks before it arrives, when you bless the good you do not yet see, you activate the law of supply and bring the invisible into visibility. Gratitude is the signature that makes every spiritual check valid. The universe is lavish, extravagant, abundant beyond measure. It does not ration the sunlight, nor does it count the stars. Why, then, should you imagine your blessings must come in fragments and delay? Cast off that small thinking. Declare that all that is yours by divine right is released to you now, easily and perfectly, in divine order. Remember this truth: you cannot outgive the infinite. Every affirmation of faith is a deposit in your spiritual account, and every act of love, forgiveness, and generosity multiplies your balance 1,000-fold. Life rushes to fill the cup you hold out to it. Hold it high, with joy, with certainty, with the knowing that the universe delights in your abundance. So rise, speak your word, and claim your check now. The universe has already written it in your name. The universe has already issued your check of abundance. Long before you asked, long before you even knew how to name your desires, the supply for your every need was prepared for you in the invisible storehouse of divine intelligence. There is a vast and unseen treasury that holds the pattern of every good thing you could ever imagine. Health, wealth, love, success, inspiration, peace. These are not rewards that must be earned through struggle or striving. They are your birthright as a divine being, a spiritual heir to infinite abundance. The universe, in its perfect wisdom, has written a check in your name, and that check contains everything that corresponds to your highest good. It is not waiting to be created, it is waiting to be claimed. Everything in the universe operates by law, not by chance. The law of supply and demand on the spiritual plane is as precise as the law of gravity. When there is a sincere demand in the heart, a pure desire aligned with truth, the supply is instantly prepared. The divine mind never withholds. It is only the limited consciousness of man that delays the manifestation of his good. When you say, I wish I could have, or I don't know how it will come, you speak from separation, not from unity. But when you say, the supply for this desire already exists, I claim it now in perfect faith, you align with the law and your invisible check begins to move into visible form. Imagine for a moment the unseen account that belongs to you in the great bank of the universe. This account has never been overdrawn, never diminished, never closed. Every time you affirm truth, every time you choose love over fear, every time you bless another instead of condemning them, you are adding credit to that account. The balance grows not through physical currency but through consciousness. As your awareness of divine supply expands, so does your visible experience of prosperity. You may look at your outer life and think your account is empty, but the spiritual record shows otherwise. The abundance has already been issued. The check is written, signed with divine authority, and waiting only for your mental endorsement. Many people live as though the universe were a reluctant giver, as if blessings had to be coaxed, earned, or pleaded for. But divine law knows nothing of withholding. The sunlight does not ask permission to shine, it simply shines because that is its nature. The same is true for the infinite. It gives because giving is its nature. The moment a desire is born in your heart, the supply for its fulfillment is born simultaneously. The check is not post-dated for some future time, it is already valid. The question is not, will I receive, but will I believe? For belief is the key that unlocks the vault. This check of abundance can take any form your consciousness can accept. For some, it appears as a new opportunity, for others as healing, reconciliation, or creative inspiration. The form is irrelevant. The substance is always the same. Divine energy made visible through faith. When you think of abundance only in terms of money, you limit the expression of the infinite. True abundance is the overflowing good of God in every area of life. It is harmony, beauty, freedom, and peace of mind. The divine check encompasses all these things, for it is written in the currency of spirit, not of material limitation. The tragedy of human living is that many never cash their checks. They keep them folded in the drawer of disbelief, telling themselves stories of unworthiness, fear, or delay. They say, "I will believe when I see," yet the law says, "You will see when you believe." The universe does not operate on conditions, it operates on consciousness. Every thought of faith deposits substance into form. Every thought of doubt stops the flow. The check cannot bounce, but your own lack of faith can prevent it from being delivered. The postman of divine supply always knocks, but you must open the door with your word of acceptance. Think of your spoken word as the pen that signs this cosmic check. When you declare with conviction, "I now receive my divine abundance," the invisible law records your endorsement. It moves through channels, people, and circumstances, orchestrating the perfect delivery of your good. You need not know how, you only need to know that it is done. The how belongs to the universe. Your role is to hold the vision, to feel the reality of your desire as already accomplished, to act and speak as one who has received. In that consciousness, the check clears instantly, and supply rushes to meet demand. There is never any delay in the divine. Delay exists only in human perception. The moment you accept in consciousness that your good is already yours, you begin to see evidence of it appearing in the outer world. The supply may come through unexpected means, a sudden idea, a chance meeting, a door opening where before there was none. These are not coincidences. They are the visible signatures of your invisible check being cashed. The universe works through infinite channels, and your task is to stay receptive, joyful, and unafraid. If you could see the unseen forces surrounding you, you would never again doubt your supply. There are angels of opportunity, messengers of abundance moving constantly in your atmosphere, waiting for the signal of your faith. They respond instantly to the vibration of belief. Every time you affirm prosperity, these forces gather substance, form ideas, and arrange conditions for your good to appear. But when you affirm lack, they stand still, unable to act against your own spoken law, for even divine power cannot override the decree of your consciousness. You are the issuing authority of your own abundance. Remember that the check is not issued for selfish desire or fear-based want. The universe recognizes only divine intention. Desires that expand life, that bless others as well as yourself, that reflect the harmony of love. When your request is pure, your check is always honored. There is no shortage of wealth in the infinite. There is only the misuse of thought that blocks the flow. To align with abundance, think abundance, speak abundance, expect it, prepare for it, and it will come. The universe never withholds, but it waits for recognition. Recognition is faith made visible. It is saying, I know my good is here now, even before your senses can prove it. It is living as if the check has already cleared, spending gratitude instead of worry, radiating joy instead of fear. When you live from that vibration, you magnetize the forms of supply to you without effort. What you claim in consciousness must appear in experience, for thought is the seed of reality. Your invisible check is not a promise of future good. It is a record of good already given. The infinite has placed within you every idea, every talent, every connection you will ever need to fulfill your divine purpose. These inner riches are the currency of spirit, waiting to be spent in faith and imagination. When you use them, they multiply. When you hoard them in fear, they seem to disappear. The law of supply is circulation. To receive more, give more. Give thought, give gratitude, give service, give love. The more you give, the more your spiritual account expands, and the larger your checks become. The universe has issued your check of abundance not because you are special, but because you are one with the source that can never be depleted. The fountain does not decide who may drink, it flows freely to all who approach with open hands. To claim your divine wealth is not arrogance, it is obedience to law. When you receive your good with joy, you become a channel through which the infinite gives more, and the circle of supply continues without end. Faith is the signature that validates your divine check. The universe may write the check of abundance in your name, but until you sign it with faith, it remains unclaimed, unrealized, a promise without fulfillment. Faith is not mere belief in something distant or uncertain. It is the living conviction that what you desire already exists in the invisible and must appear in the visible when you call it forth with unwavering trust. The divine law does not respond to pleading, begging, or half-hearted affirmations. It responds to knowing, to the calm, steady assurance that what you ask for is already yours by divine right. Faith is the invisible ink that transforms spiritual promise into tangible reality. When you understand faith, you no longer ask if your good will come. You know that it is already on its way. The invisible forces of the universe are always at work, but they move according to the vibration of your inner certainty. If you doubt, you delay. If you fear, you confuse the law. But when you stand firm in faith, declaring your word with confidence, you give the universe a clear signature, a definite authorization to release your blessings. Faith is the spiritual pen that signs your name on the cosmic check and says, yes, I accept this good as mine now. Without faith, the check of abundance cannot be cashed. The universe holds infinite wealth, yet it is faith that activates the transaction. Many pray, affirm, and visualize, yet secretly cancel their own requests by doubting their worthiness or questioning divine timing. They speak words of abundance but think thoughts of lack. They plant seeds of prosperity but water them with worry. Faith does not live in divided consciousness. It is single-minded, focused, and fearless. It knows that divine supply never fails, that every need is already met, that the unseen substance of the universe is responding instantly to every thought of belief. Faith is not dependent on outer evidence. It is most powerful when there seems to be no sign of fulfillment. In the silence, in the delay, in the appearance of emptiness, faith whispers, "It is already done." It does not look to the bank account, the job, or the circumstances. It looks to the infinite source that creates and sustains all things. It understands that appearances are but shadows, reflections of old beliefs, and that new realities are formed by steadfast knowing. Faith does not argue with appearances, it overrides them. It holds its vision until the outer must conform to the inner decree. Every thought of faith is a vibration that calls forth the corresponding form. You cannot hold faith and fear in the same mind. One must yield to the other. Faith speaks the language of the divine. I am, I have, I receive. Fear speaks the language of separation. I want, I hope, I doubt. The moment you shift from wanting to knowing, your spiritual check is signed and sent into circulation. The law of supply moves into action because you have declared the truth of your being. You have recognized yourself as heir to infinite abundance, and recognition is the key that unlocks the treasury. Faith is not blind optimism or reckless desire. It is spiritual intelligence in action. It knows that the same power that makes the sun rise and the flowers bloom is guiding your life with perfect precision. Faith sees order in chaos, purpose in delay, blessing in disguise. It knows that even apparent obstacles are divine setups, preparing the way for greater good. The person of faith walks through uncertainty as though walking on solid ground because they trust the unseen more than the seen. They know that divine substance is fluid, ready to take shape according to their belief, and that every word spoken in faith molds that substance into form. When you affirm your good with faith, you impress it upon the universal mind. This mind is creative, obedient, and responsive. It receives your declaration and begins to arrange people, events, and circumstances to manifest it. But if you vacillate, affirming one moment and doubting the next, you send mixed signals into the creative medium, and the manifestation wavers accordingly. Faith is consistency in consciousness. It does not waver with emotion or appearance. It maintains its tone of certainty even in silence. Like a steady heartbeat, it keeps declaring, "It is done," until the outer world mirrors the inner conviction. There is no limit to what faith can draw from the infinite. Faith does not measure its request by logic, time, or limitation. It does not say, "This is too much," or "That is impossible." It knows that divine supply is inexhaustible. The same power that created galaxies can easily create your opportunity, your healing, your prosperity. The size of your blessing is determined only by the size of your faith. A little faith opens a little door. A great faith opens the floodgates of heaven. The law is impartial. It gives according to belief. As you believe, so it is done unto you. To have faith is to live as though your desire were already fulfilled. It is to speak with confidence, to act with gratitude, to feel the joy of possession before the evidence appears. Faith does not wait for proof. It creates proof. When you live in that vibration, the universe rushes to match your frequency. Conditions rearrange themselves. Ideas come, doors open, and people appear in perfect timing. You begin to see that faith is not passive hope, but active creation. It is the power that calls the unseen into form. When you write a check in the physical world, it is only valid when signed. Similarly, the divine check of abundance, though issued in your name, remains dormant until you add your signature of faith. That signature says, "I trust divine law completely. I know my good is secure. I accept it without fear or hesitation." Once signed, the transaction is instant. The spiritual current begins to flow, drawing your good from the invisible into visibility. The more unwavering your faith, the faster the manifestation. Doubt adds delay, certainty accelerates delivery. Faith is not something you acquire, it is something you remember. It is the natural state of the soul, the original knowing that you are one with the source. As a child trusts its parent without question, so the soul trusts the universe. But through fear, conditioning, and disappointment, you may have forgotten this natural trust. To restore faith is to return to your true nature, to remember that you live in a friendly universe that always provides, always supports, always fulfills. The power that created you cannot betray its own creation. When you stand in that remembrance, your word becomes law, your thought becomes substance, and your faith becomes the signature that activates every promise written in your name. Faith is magnetic. It attracts to you that which matches its vibration. When you hold faith in abundance, abundance recognizes its own and flows toward you. When you hold faith in love, love answers your call. When you hold faith in health, the body aligns with the pattern of wholeness. Whatever you believe in, you authorize. Faith is creative authority. It says to the mountain, "Move." and the mountain obeys, not because consciousness does, but because consciousness does. Every day offers a choice, to sign your check with faith or to leave it unsigned through fear. Faith is a decision, a stand, a declaration that you live by spiritual law, not by appearances. It is saying yes to your divine inheritance, yes to abundance, yes to life itself. It is knowing that your word has power, your thought has substance, and your trust has creative force. When faith becomes your constant state, every check the universe writes in your name clears with ease, for your signature is already waiting. Doubt and fear cancel the payment of your blessings. The universe, in its infinite precision, never withholds your good, but the vibrations of doubt and fear act as spiritual interference, blocking the clear flow of divine supply. Imagine a check written in radiant gold light, your name glowing upon it, the amount infinite and unbounded. It is already issued, already guaranteed by the law of divine abundance. Yet when you allow fear to dominate your thought, it is as though you have torn up that check before it could be cashed. Doubt scratches across its surface the words insufficient faith, and the flow of good halts, not because the source has run dry, but because the receiver has closed the channel of belief. The universe is impartial, responding not to pleading or effort, but to the steady vibration of faith. Where faith speaks yes, doubt whispers perhaps, and fear screams impossible, creating a confusion in the law that mirrors the confusion in your heart. Every thought you think is a signal sent into the infinite mind of creation. When that signal is strong, clear, and aligned with certainty, the results manifest swiftly and beautifully. But when that signal wavers, faith one moment, fear the next, the current of creation becomes unstable. The law cannot deliver what the consciousness keeps canceling. It is like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to see if it has grown. The soil of spirit responds only to steadfast confidence. The moment you doubt your good, you uproot its seed. The moment you fear loss, you invite lack. The moment you worry about timing, you postpone arrival. Doubt is spiritual hesitation, and hesitation is the great thief of manifestation. Fear disguises itself as wisdom, as caution, as logic. It whispers that you must be realistic, that the world is limited, that miracles are rare. But these are lies born of separation from truth. Fear is faith inverted. It is faith in evil instead of good, faith in lack instead of abundance, faith in the temporary rather than the eternal. To fear is to believe that the universe is unkind or uncertain, when in truth it is as orderly and dependable as the rising of the sun. Every fearful thought writes a stop order on the check of abundance. Every doubtful word tells the law, do not deliver yet, I am not ready to receive. The universe listens to your vibration more than your voice. You may speak words of faith, but if your heart trembles with fear, the vibration of cancellation echoes louder than your affirmation. To master the law of manifestation, one must master the inner realm of thought and emotion. Fear is not an enemy but a signal. It shows where faith is needed. When you feel fear, it is not proof of weakness, but a call to strengthen your belief. You overcome fear not by denying it, but by facing it with the light of truth. The truth is that divine supply cannot fail, divine timing cannot err, divine protection cannot falter. When you rest in that awareness, fear dissolves like mist before the morning sun. Doubt is the shadow of untrained imagination, and when imagination is filled with divine certainty, the shadow disappears. Every great work, every answered prayer, every manifestation of abundance begins with faith and is sustained by it. But faith must be protected from the corrosion of doubt. Doubt creeps in subtly, whispering questions of worthiness. Am I asking too much? What if it does not happen? These questions weaken the vibration of manifestation, because they affirm separation from divine law. You are not separate from your good, you are one with it. The same power that breathed life into the stars breathes within you, and it is not confused about your worth. The moment you remember that, the moment you reclaim your divine identity, fear loses its power. The cheque of abundance clears instantly when there is no resistance in the heart. Doubt and fear not only block blessings, they distort perception. Under their influence, you cannot see the good that is already unfolding. Opportunities appear invisible, intuition grows dim, and the mind becomes preoccupied with problems instead of solutions. Yet even then, the universe remains faithful. It continues to send your good, waiting patiently for your vibration to rise to match it. You may delay the delivery, but you can never lose what is yours by divine right. Your blessings remain held in escrow by the infinite until you are ready to receive without fear. The moment you release your grip on anxiety, the flow resumes naturally. Fear is fed by memory and imagination, by what has been and what might be. Faith lives only in the present. In the now, there is no fear, for the divine operates only in the eternal present. Every time you bring your awareness fully into this moment, fear loses its anchor. It cannot survive in the vibration of gratitude. Gratitude dissolves doubt because it affirms abundance already present. The grateful heart cannot fear loss. It knows that every breath is proof of infinite supply. The more you give thanks for what you have and what you have claimed, the less power doubt holds. Gratitude is the antidote to fear, for it is faith expressed in feeling. The mind ruled by fear seeks control, yet control is the illusion of the ego. True security comes from surrender to divine order. To surrender is not to give up, but to give over. To release the heavy burden of trying to make things happen and to trust that they already are happening perfectly. Fear says, "What if?" Faith says, "Even if." Doubt says, "I cannot see how." Faith says, "I know it is done." These inner dialogues are not trivial. They are the very mechanics of manifestation. The law of mind takes every word as instruction and every feeling as confirmation. When fear and doubt dominate, the law obeys by reproducing confusion and delay. When faith and peace dominate, the law obeys by producing clarity and fulfillment. To cancel the payment of fear, one must consciously rewrite the inner script. Every fearful thought can be replaced by a declaration of truth. Where fear says, "I might fail," affirm, "Divine intelligence succeeds through me." Where doubt says, "There is not enough," declare, "Infinite supply meets every need." Where worry says, "It's taking too long," affirm, "Everything unfolds in divine order." Each affirmation is a new signature of faith, rewriting the spiritual check with power and certainty. You may have canceled payments before through doubt, but divine law holds no grudges. It responds instantly to new instructions. The moment faith returns, flow returns. Fear thrives in the imagination, faith directs it. The same mental energy that imagines disaster can imagine success. The same emotion that feeds anxiety can feed expectation. Imagination is the creative workshop of the soul, and when filled with fear, it paints scenes of lack and failure. But when illuminated by faith, it becomes the architect of abundance. Use your imagination deliberately. See your good as already received. Feel the joy of possession. Let the vibration of certainty grow so strong that fear has no room to speak. You cannot stop fearful thoughts from knocking, but you can refuse them entry. The greatest illusion fear creates is the belief that power lies outside yourself. It makes you think that conditions, people, or luck control your destiny. But divine law is not governed by outer forces. It is governed by your consciousness. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the creator of it. When you fear, you give power to the shadow. When you believe, you reclaim the throne of spiritual authority. The master of fear is not the one who never feels it, but the one who sees through it, recognizing that nothing can oppose divine order. Fear has no reality except the one you lend it. Doubt and fear are the great interrupters of manifestation, but they are also the great teachers of faith. They reveal where your consciousness still hesitates to trust. Each time you face them and choose belief instead, your faith grows stronger, your vibration purer, your connection to divine supply clearer. You learn that fear is a test of remembrance. Will you remember who you are? or will you believe the illusion of limitation? Every time you remember, the check of your blessings clears again, renewed, unrestricted, unstoppable. Gratitude activates the law of supply. It is the spiritual magnet that draws invisible good into visible form, the silent force that multiplies every blessing it touches. Gratitude is not merely saying thank you for what you can hold in your hands. It is the deep acknowledgement of abundance already present in unseen form. When you give thanks before the evidence appears, you align yourself with the vibration of fulfillment, and the universe must respond in kind. Gratitude opens the channel through which divine substance flows. Where there is appreciation, there is acceleration. Where there is thankfulness, there is multiplication. Gratitude is the living proof of faith, the action that seals every spoken word of belief with divine confirmation. In the invisible realm, everything exists as potential until it is called forth by recognition. Gratitude is that recognition. It tells the universe, I see what you have already done for me, and the law, hearing that acknowledgement, sends more. The ungrateful mind, however, blocks the flow. It is like standing before a fountain with a closed cup, demanding more water while refusing to open. Gratitude opens the cup. It declares readiness to receive, not from need, but from awareness of continuous supply. When you give thanks for what you already have, you declare the law of increase. The energy of your gratitude expands the vibration of abundance within you, and according to that vibration, the outer must adjust to match it. Gratitude is the language of divine order. Every expression of thankfulness aligns you with harmony, while complaint and criticism place you out of tune with the cosmic rhythm of supply. The universe cannot pour abundance into a vessel filled with resentment or dissatisfaction. Such emotions are signals of disbelief, affirmations of lack. But gratitude purifies the heart. It clears away the clutter of fear and scarcity, making room for more. The moment you say thank you with sincerity, even before you see results, you shift from the frequency of wanting to the frequency of having, and in that instant, manifestation begins. Think of gratitude as spiritual electricity. Faith connects the wire, but gratitude turns on the current. Without gratitude, faith remains potential power waiting to be used. When you speak words of thanksgiving, you send a clear signal into the creative substance of the universe. I recognize my abundance. I live in abundance. I am abundance. The law of supply, ever obedient, mirrors this recognition back to you through people, opportunities, and material expression. Gratitude is not only the completion of faith, but its amplifier. The more you give thanks, the faster and fuller your blessings appear. Gratitude transforms perception. It teaches you to see wealth where others see emptiness, to recognize progress where others see stagnation, to feel joy in what already is. When you cultivate this perception, lack becomes impossible, for your awareness can no longer dwell in absence. You begin to see divine order in every delay, divine purpose in every challenge. The grateful mind does not complain about waiting, it blesses the process, knowing that every stage is part of perfect unfolding. To be grateful in advance is to demonstrate complete trust in divine timing. That trust releases resistance and allows the flow of supply to move unhindered. Every moment of sincere gratitude multiplies your spiritual capital. It adds to your invisible account in the great bank of the universe, compounding interest through joy and acknowledgement. Each time you give thanks, you draw closer to the reality of your desire, for gratitude bridges the gap between unseen and seen. It affirms that the good you seek is already in motion, already on its way, already yours in consciousness. And because consciousness is the only creative cause, that inner acknowledgement guarantees the outer result. Gratitude writes the words, paid in full, across the spiritual check of your desire. There is a law of increase and a law of decrease. The law of increase responds to gratitude. The law of decrease responds to complaint. When you give thanks for what you have, it grows. When you complain about what you lack, it shrinks. Every word carries creative power, and gratitude is the most fertile word of all. It multiplies the seed of good in ways beyond measure. Even a small act of appreciation can release vast currents of supply. When you bless your possessions, they serve you longer. When you bless your money, it circulates with ease. When you bless your body, it grows stronger. Gratitude infuses life into everything it touches, because it is the recognition of divine presence within all things. To live in gratitude is to live in the awareness of abundance. It is to walk through life knowing that every breath, every sunrise, every heartbeat is evidence of infinite giving. This state of consciousness is magnetic. It attracts circumstances that match its tone. The grateful person finds doors opening effortlessly, opportunities unfolding naturally, and needs met in perfect order. This is not coincidence but law. The vibration of gratitude calls to itself the same vibration in form. You cannot sincerely give thanks for abundance without attracting more of it, just as you cannot dwell in complaint without drawing further reasons to complain. Gratitude also heals. It dissolves the energy of resistance, the tension that blocks the natural flow of good. When you are grateful, you relax into trust. You stop struggling and start allowing. Healing, prosperity, love, and peace all flourish in an atmosphere of thankfulness. A grateful heart is open, receptive, and fearless, for it knows that life is benevolent and ever-giving. Even in moments of challenge, gratitude finds something to bless, the lesson, the growth, the strength gained, and through that act it transforms the energy of difficulty into power. Gratitude is alchemy. It turns the ordinary into divine substance. To activate the law of supply through gratitude, you must practice it not as a reaction, but as a state of being. Do not wait for good things to appear before you give thanks. Begin now, for what already exists, for what you expect, for what you cannot yet see. Gratitude, spoken in the midst of lack, is the most powerful declaration of abundance. For it says to the universe, "I trust your promise more than appearances." That trust opens the floodgates. The law of supply rushes to confirm the consciousness that calls it forth. Gratitude is your declaration of readiness to receive. Each day is filled with opportunities to practice this sacred art. Give thanks for the smallest blessings, the warmth of sunlight, the breath in your lungs, the kindness of a stranger. These moments train the mind to see abundance everywhere. The more you notice, the more there is to notice. The more you bless, the more blessings arrive. Gratitude is not a ritual of politeness. It is a creative command. It says to the universe, "I acknowledge my connection to Source. I celebrate the good that flows endlessly through me." The law of supply responds instantly to such recognition, for it is the very nature of the infinite to expand wherever it is acknowledged. When you meet life with gratitude, you step into partnership with the divine. You become a conscious co-creator rather than a passive receiver. Gratitude lifts you from the vibration of need into the vibration of fulfillment, where supply is infinite and continuous. It is the key that unlocks the storehouse of heaven, not because it changes the universe, but because it changes you. It clears the lens of perception so that you may see the abundance that was there all along. Gratitude is the signature of the soul that knows its source, the song of one who lives already supplied, already blessed, already whole. Through gratitude, you align your inner world with divine order, and in that alignment, everything begins to flow. Money, health, love, opportunity, all respond to the one who blesses them before they appear. Gratitude is faith made visible, trust made audible, joy made active. It turns every moment into proof of divine generosity. When you live in constant gratitude, the law of supply becomes your servant, following you wherever you go, multiplying your good without effort, and making your life a continuous unfolding of miracles. Claim your good now. Divine timing is always now. The universe does not operate in delay, it operates in principle, and principle is always present. The good you desire is not in some distant future or hidden behind the curtain of time. It exists now, fully formed in the invisible realm, awaiting only your recognition. Every longing of your heart, every dream that feels sacred, is already finished in divine mind. The idea comes to you not as a hope of something to come, but as an announcement of what already is. The moment you claim it, you align with the vibration of fulfillment, and the invisible begins to take shape in the visible. To wait is to postpone, to claim is to create. Divine timing is not about patience, but about alignment, and alignment happens only in the eternal now. So many souls delay their blessings by placing them always ahead of themselves. They say, "One day I will be happy. One day I will prosper. One day I will be free." Yet that day never comes, because it is always spoken of as tomorrow. The law of life can act only through the present moment. It is the only place where power exists. When you say now, you open the channel of immediate manifestation, for the universe recognizes no other time. All creation unfolds in the instant of recognition. Every miracle you seek is waiting in this breath, not in the next. To declare now is to open the door through which divine supply enters. The habit of postponement is the child of fear. The mind that fears its own power hesitates to claim good because it doubts its worthiness or questions divine readiness. But the infinite does not need time to prepare your blessing. Time is a construct of perception. Supply is a constant of law. The oak exists within the acorn. The abundance exists within the idea. The moment the seed of desire is planted in your heart, the harvest is prepared in divine mind. You do not wait for the harvest to be created. You wait only for your consciousness to rise to its level. The instant you accept that it is done, the timing is fulfilled, and the result appears. When you claim your good now, you step into partnership with the divine process. You stop asking, "When will it come?" and start affirming, "It is here." That declaration is not imagination, it is law in motion. Every word of power spoken in the present tense calls substance to form. The mind that claims in the future keeps its good in the future, for thought is creative, and time is one of its tools. When you say, "I will have," the law hears, "I will wait." When you say, "I have now," the law hears, "Deliver now." The infinite obeys your declaration because it cannot contradict your consciousness. The delay you feel is never divine hesitation, it is the echo of your own deferred belief. To live in the awareness of now is to live as a creator, not a seeker. It is to understand that divine substance is fluid, responding instantly to your inner command. Every moment you doubt, you pause the flow. Every moment you believe, you accelerate it. Claiming your good now is not arrogance but alignment. It is saying yes to what has already been prepared for you. The infinite does not ask you to earn blessings, it asks you to accept them. The check of abundance is written, the date is today, divine timing is the eternal present, and you stand in it now. Many people pray as if they must wait for a divine decision, but divine law is automatic. It operates by correspondence. When your vibration matches the vibration of your desire, the manifestation appears as naturally as dawn follows night. You do not beg the sun to rise, you simply awaken to it. In the same way, your good is already shining in the unseen. You awaken to it through claiming. You do not need to plead for your blessing. You need to perceive it. The statement, "I claim it now," is the key that unlocks perception, turning the invisible into visible form. Living in the present claim requires the courage to act as if the good were already here. When you walk, speak, and make choices from that consciousness, you become the embodiment of fulfillment. The law mirrors your behavior, for the outer always conforms to the inner. Acting as if is not pretending. It is rehearsing the reality that already exists in divine mind. Every time you behave from the vibration of possession, you deepen your claim. Every time you speak words of now, you stamp your signature on the check of manifestation. To claim now is also to release the weight of waiting. Waiting creates tension, claiming creates flow. The energy of waiting says, "It is not yet mine," while the energy of claiming says, "It is already complete." The universe responds to energy, not words. Even if you speak the most beautiful affirmations, if you carry the vibration of delay, your good remains postponed. But one sincere moment of knowing can undo years of waiting. The shift can happen in a breath. The instant you stop striving and start accepting, the entire current of life changes direction. Divine timing was never later, it was always now. Each moment is a point of power. Every breath is an invitation to declare your abundance into form. You are not moving toward your good is moving through you. Every desire that arises in your heart is divine intention seeking expression through you. To claim it now is to allow life to flow unresisted. When you say, "It is done," you step into the vibration where done already exists. The more you dwell there, the more effortless manifestation becomes. The door to every blessing opens inward, and the handle is called now. You may ask, how can I claim something I cannot yet see? The answer lies in understanding that seeing is not believing, believing is seeing. The invisible always precedes the visible. When you believe now, the evidence must appear later, for that is the law. Faith in future fulfillment delays fulfillment. Faith in present completion manifests it. The mind that knows its abundance now will soon find its world filled with proof. You cannot claim tomorrow's good today because tomorrow does not exist. You can only claim now, and in doing so you bring tomorrow's good into today's experience. Claiming your good now requires the discipline to hold the vibration even when appearances contradict it. The outer world is a mirror of past thoughts. It may still reflect old limitations, but those reflections cannot withstand the steady light of present belief. Each moment you declare now, you rewrite the pattern. Eventually, the outer must conform, for the law cannot resist sustained faith. Do not wait for signs before you claim. Claim before the signs, and the signs will appear. The one who claims early walks with divine confidence, knowing that timing and manifestation are one and the same. Divine timing does not mean delay, it means precision. It is the perfect coordination of all things to serve your highest good. When you claim now, you step into that precision. You align yourself with the rhythm of divine intelligence, and everything falls into its rightful place. What once felt like waiting becomes unfolding. The steps you need to take appear naturally, the people you need to meet arrive effortlessly, the opportunities you need open at the exact moment they should. This is not coincidence. It is the reflection of consciousness that lives in the timeless present. Claiming your good now transforms your relationship with life. You stop chasing and start receiving. You stop fearing time and start flowing with it. You realize that every delay was never punishment, but preparation, waiting only for your recognition. When you stand in the vibration of now, you dissolve all barriers of time, doubt, and distance. You become one with the law of instantaneous supply, the rhythm of eternal creation. The universe does not ask you to wait. It asks you to awaken. Your blessing is not coming to you, it is already here, knocking at the door of awareness, waiting for you to open with the simple and powerful declaration, I claim my good now, for divine timing is always now.